Hi, Sarah Childers back with you. At last, I'm doing a Yellowstone watch bite, completely inspired by Season 2, Episode 1, in which John Dutton discovers that instead of an unmanly wasting disease, he has a kind of ejaculative blood geyser that requires the kind of John Wayne approved, battlefield tested, bite on the bullet kind of procedure that has long been, and I guess still is, a rite of passage for the superhuman manly men of the frontier. Now, I find this almost perfect moment of masculine melodrama to be the reason I and probably so many other people love to watch this show. But I'm not even going to compare or contrast it with another show because I find what it does to be so fascinating. And one of the things that I think it does particularly well is to examine various anxieties. One of the main anxieties is that around masculinity. I mean, I haven't seen so much testosterone-induced huffing and puffing since the last time I watched a nature documentary about mating courtship rituals or spent some time around my dad. I mean, even the women in Yellowstone are men in terms of how they perform their identity. And I totally get it because that's how I was raised. If you want a piece of the power pie, act more like a man, especially a manly man. And if that doesn't work, then try to attract the manliest man around that you can find. The other thing that I think it does really well is to think through and examine the anxieties around displacement, specifically what it means to feel like you belong to a place, to feel like you have a home in a place, and to have that place be under threat. And as a native Floridian, that's something that I was taught and that I felt really since I was in utero. And so that kind of displacement rage and that deep fear is something that I very much understand. Though in a way, I have to kind of roll my eyes because it's like, okay, Montanans, I get it. The Californians in the coffee shops are kind of making you feel a little anxious, but we native Floridians have had to deal with this for centuries. But maybe that's just my huffing and puffing. So anyway, while Succession might have its clever plot twists, I find Yellowstone to be so much more compelling because it does family, dynasty, and then even adds in land so much more meaningfully. In fact, the other thing that it does that I really appreciate is that even though its battles are primarily among the rich, it also shows the implications for those battles for all of us, even the regular folks, because we all have a stake in the goings-on that are going on in Yellowstone.